What if a courtroom was not just a place of laws and punishments, but a place where kindness ruled, where tears turned into relief, and where justice felt more like humanity? This was the world of Judge Frank Caprio, a man who transformed ordinary court hearings into extraordinary lessons of compassion. Judge Caprio, the beloved face of Caught in Providence, became a global symbol of empathy and justice. While most courtrooms echo with strict verdicts and cold procedures, his echoed with laughter, tears, and second chances. Today, we remember his story, not just as a judge, but as a father, a son of immigrants, a veteran, and above all, a human being who never forgot to be kind. To understand Judge Frank Caprio, we must go back to his beginnings. Born on November 24, 1936, in Providence, Rhode Island, Frank grew up in a modest home. His father, Antonio, was an Italian immigrant who worked as a fruit peddler. Every morning, Antonio would push his cart through the streets, selling fruit to provide for his family. Young Frank often helped his father. While stacking apples and bananas, Antonio would repeat one lesson: be respectful, be understanding, treat people the way you want to be treated. Those words never left Frank. They became the foundation of the man who would one day sit on the bench, deciding the fates of countless strangers. Frank studied hard, attended Providence College, and later graduated from Suffolk University Law School. But even as his career advanced, he never forgot his humble roots. He often said, "My father was my first teacher. He taught me kindness before any law school taught me justice." In 1985, Frank Caprio was appointed to the Providence Municipal Court. It was a court where cases often involved minor violations, traffic tickets, parking fines, small disputes. For most judges, such cases would be routine, almost boring. But for Judge Caprio, each person in front of him was not just a case file. They were a story, a struggle, a human being. That perspective shaped his courtroom philosophy. Justice, he once said, is not about punishment alone. It is about understanding. People don't come to court in their best moments. They come when life is already heavy. Sometimes a little compassion can change everything. One of the most unforgettable moments in Caprio's courtroom involved a young mother. She walked in with 9 traffic violations hanging over her. On paper, she looked irresponsible, careless, even guilty. But as she stood before the judge, her trembling voice revealed another story. She spoke of running from a violent partner, of nights spent protecting her daughter, of survival. Each ticket was not just a fine. It was a trace of her escape. Caprio leaned forward, listening closely. His eyes softened as he heard her pain. Finally, he said, "You don't owe this courtroom an explanation for your survival. You've been through enough. Your fines will be reduced, and more importantly, I want you to know you are safe here." The young woman broke down. With tears streaming, she asked shyly, "Can I give you a hug?" Caprio stood up, opened his arms, and embraced her. That moment was captured on video and went viral. Millions around the world saw a judge not as a punisher, but as a protector. Another day, a 100-year-old man stood in Caprio's courtroom, his crime, running a red light. The man, frail but proud, explained he had served in World War II. He had lived through battles most of us could never imagine. Caprio listened, then smiled warmly. "We want to honor you for your service, your bravery, your contributions to this country. This case is dismissed. In fact, if I couldn't dismiss it, I would have paid it myself." The veteran's eyes welled with gratitude. The courtroom applauded softly. Around the world, viewers felt their hearts swell. It wasn't just a legal decision, it was a salute to sacrifice. Perhaps the most heartbreaking case was that of a woman who had lost her son. Her life was unraveling. Her son's funeral expenses, the loss of her home, the financial collapse that followed. She came into court owing fines she could not pay. When asked how much she could give, she whispered, I have it with me now, but it will leave me with only $5. The courtroom fell silent. Caprio paused, visibly moved. Then he leaned forward and said gently, I will not leave you with $5. I cannot add to your pain. Everything is dismissed. Tears streamed down her face as the burden lifted, if only a little. That day the world didn't just see a judge, they saw a human heart beating with empathy. Not every case was tragic. Some were simply human, like the young man who entered court visibly shaking. Caprio noticed and asked, What are you nervous about? The boy replied, Everything. I've never been to court. With a gentle smile, Caprio reassured him. You don't need to be nervous. You're safe here. This isn't about fear. It's about fairness. The boy exhaled, shoulders loosening. And once again, the judge had turned the courtroom into a place of comfort. Why did Judge Caprio act this way? He often explained, the law is meant to protect, not just punish. Behind every fine is a story. Some people make mistakes, others face hardships beyond their control. My job is not just to enforce the law, but to balance it with humanity. His philosophy resonated worldwide. Millions of viewers tuned in to Caught in Providence, not just to see cases, but to witness humanity in action. Comments poured in from every corner of the globe. If every judge were like him, the world would be a better place. In his later years, Judge Caprio faced his toughest opponent, pancreatic cancer. Even as he underwent treatment, he continued to appear in the public, speaking with strength and hope. I'm doing everything the doctors told me to do. I'm feeling stronger. I'm not going anywhere. No one's taking me out, he declared in one interview. Though his body weakened, his spirit never did. He showed the world that courage was not only in the courtroom, but in facing life's final trial with dignity. On August 20th, 2025, Judge Frank Caprio passed away at the age of 88. The news spread quickly. Tributes flooded social media. Fans recirculated videos of his kindest moments. News anchors called him America's kindest judge. But his legacy goes beyond viral clips. It lives in every person he helped, in every family he comforted, in every viewer who believed that compassion has a place in justice. His message was simple yet profound. Pay it forward. Help someone else. Don't forget the people who need you. As we look back at Judge Caprio's life, one truth shines brightly. He was more than a judge. He was a teacher, a healer, a symbol of what justice could and should be. His courtroom was filled with tears, laughter, forgiveness, and above all, humanity. And though he is no longer with us, his lessons echo louder than ever. This was Judge Frank Caprio, the judge who proved that the greatest verdict of all is compassion.